In September 2016, close to 50,000 mining industry professionals from around the globe gathered in Las Vegas, Nevada for Mine Expo International, the largest mining show in the world. Mine Expo was the perfect venue for SKF to launch the first ever Mining Insights speaker series. SKF developed the series to help mining industry professionals gain insights to overcoming the challenges faced every day within the industry. A diverse range of experts from across the world of mining presented real-world case studies, industry trends, technologies for improving reliability, productivity, safety, and much more. Okay, without further ado, I'm proud to present our next speaker, who will be presenting on shaft-ready solutions for conveyor systems. So please, if you're passing the stand now, feel free to join us. He's been with SKF for over 10 years and currently heads up the product line group for bearings and housed units, accessories and roller units. Please put your hands together for Henrik Saleback. Please join us on the stage.
Thank you, John.
Okay, the stage is yours.
Oh, now it works. So, thank you for letting me have this presentation here. Like John said, I have slightly more than 10 years, close to 12 years of experience working with bearing housings and units within SKF. And I've been involved in the majority of all what we call Concentra, which I will touch later in this presentation here, activities that we have made. I have a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering as a background for my development work. So, topic of today, shaft-ready conveyor solutions. So the challenge in general for the environment, and especially for the conveyors here, we've seen it before here, the environment as such is dirty, it's dusty. Mainly conveyors are put outside, they're exposed to rain, high pressure washing. In general, it's a really nasty environment. If we have a bearing failure and there's a need to replace, the environment is rendered quite dirty. So having some kind of a sealed unit is a requirement that's coming more and more instead of having the open bearing. If you are using a sealed unit, you don't even need to use the hand greasing at the assembly as well. The traditional way to do an assembly in a pulley system is to use the split block with all the parts like the bearing, adapter sleeve, lock nuts, seals, guide rings, etc., etc. It's a lot of parts, and it's kind of fiddly to really put everything together. But there is another option, the unit rollers, where you just have one piece out of the box, ready to slide on into the shaft, fit, and more or less forget. It's pre-lubed from manufacturing, so you don't have to really bother spend time of figuring out how much amount of grease, etc., to put into the bearing. And you don't get the dirt into the unit or the bearings during assembly, as the unit is sealed. The traditional solution is a grub screw mounted unit where we have two grub screws. You actually see in the picture on the lower left corner, which are tightened and protruding down to the shaft. The issue here is if you have that solution, the grub screws have a tendency to damage the shaft as you tighten them down into the shaft. You also create a small cavity between the in-ring of the bearing and the shaft as you slightly translate the in-ring when you tighten the grub screws. And that small cavity tends to be filled up with water, with dust, with all kinds of things that really makes dismounting, if the bearing fails, really tricky. So sometimes you have to more or less use a torch to cut out the bearing. You must more or less have to split the unit in two pieces, with a high risk of damaging the shaft with a torch. And you see an image on the lower right corner, and that small black spot is actually a small indent from the torch that have damaged the shaft when a customer cut off that grub screw mounted unit. So there are solutions available, and the one SKF promote is the Concentra solution. The Concentra solution is based on the Explorer bearing. It's a spherical roller bearing mounted on a multi-stepped shaft, which we sleeve, which we call Concentra. It's a heavy-duty seal to withstand the environment that the conveyors are exposed to. We have a lot of different housing styles for that roller bearing unit, and the misalignment capability is 1.5 degrees. Going to slightly more details with the Concentra multi-step sleeve concept is, as you can see on the image, it's not like a normal taper where you just have one taper. Here we have, can be 3, can be 4, can be 5. But the big thing here is we have a quite steep taper and with just a thin shaft, so we can use a smaller size bearing. And as we tight the grub screws, which are used to, in this case, not fix the inner ring to the shaft, but instead push the bearing up on the adapter sleeve, we get a 360-degree tight fit. From a housing perspective, the basic dimensions we have are interchangeable with the normal industry standards. So here in the United States, it's a Dodge E-type, which is some kind of basic industry standards. So looking into the Dodge E-type, we have what we call SYAF, and that housing is actually available, from my perspective, on the right side of the pulley, slight below there, if you can have a look later on. But, as I said, we have a lot of different housing styles. So in total we have 6 different housing types, pillar blocks, flanged housing units, and we have 21 different shaft sizes. So we have a quite big range. We are right now expanding the range with additional housing types and also shaft sizes. The beauty with the unit roller is the easiness and also the safety with the roller unit as when you mount it. And the basic functionality, as I said before, is a shaft-ready unit. You just pick it out of the box, slide it on the shaft. You tighten the small set screws, as you can see on the image around, where you drive up the bearing and you get the lock, 360 degrees. Then you tighten it to the support surface. And with all roller units, you have the mounting instructions supplied inside the box, so you don't have to figure out or look on the web or have a catalog with you. It's supplied within the box. And also with a small Allen key that should be used to tighten the set screws to lock the bearing to the shaft. And it's quick. The assembly can actually be done within 3 minutes. And we started the clock, taking the unit out of the box, slide it onto the shaft, tighten the set screws, and you're done within 3 minutes. You will not be able to do that with a split solution. It will take you much more time. So the benefits with the unit, it will definitely give you longer service life. As it is sealed from beginning, you will not have the risk of getting some dirt or similar into your bearing at assembly. It's easy to mount, it's safe to mount. You know that you will have a 360-degree fit with your unit around the shaft when you do it. It's quick, like I said, you can do it with below 3 minutes. It's only one part, like the split solution can be up to 8 parts. And what is really important, we will not damage the shaft. So if the unit fails and it has to be dismounted, you can remount a new unit again without having any shaft damages. So to summarize, the SKF solution for the shaft-ready solutions is the SKF Concentra unit, based on the well-known spherical SKF Spherical Explorer roller bearing. The uniqueness of the Concentra step sleeve, where you get a 360-degree fit around the shaft. We have a heavy-duty seal to take care of the really nasty environment the conveyor operating in. Like I said before, we have a whole bunch of different housing styles which more or less fits into whatever application you have. And we have a 1.5-degree misalignment capability, which is what the bearing or a normal open bearing can handle. So, the Concentra shaft-ready unit will definitely give you a faster and safer assembly, a longer service life compared to a normal grub screw mounted unit. Do not damage the shaft if you have to make a replacement of a unit. And it's easy to remove. You don't have to use a torch or a grinder or similar. So that's the nice and the beauty with the shaft-ready Concentra solutions for conveyors from SKF. Thank you. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Henrik. Yeah, very enlightening presentation. A couple of questions from our side,
Please.
if we may. Compared to a slide fit bearing, how does a Concentra perform better?
A normal slide fit bearing, you have the two grub screws, which you tight, and you get the fit with the shaft. You slide to displace the inner ring on the bearings. You create a small gap between the shaft and the inner ring, which dirt, water, dust can go into. So sometimes you have like a concrete.
Sure.
So it's more or less impossible to remove the unit, even if you loosen up the grub screw. So you have to cut it with a grinder, with a torch, or similar, with a high risk of damaging the shaft. And the beauty with the Concentra is you have the 360-degree fit. You will not get any dirt or dust or water into or in between the inner ring and the sleeve. You will hardly get any fretting at all. So if the bearing fails, it's quite easy just to loosen the grub screws and hit the bearing or the bearing unit of the shaft.
Yeah, real technology improvement there.
Yeah.
And what about the size range are we talking?
Size range, taking inch dimensions, start at 1 inch going up to 4, 15, 16. With the SYAF from the Dodge E-footprint as the core range. Then we have different housing styles from a pillar block perspective, and we have a flanged 4-bolt, round, piloted flanged housings. We also have a metric range starting at 35mm bore going up to 100mm bore, available in a flange execution and a pillar block execution.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henrik. And any questions from the audience? Okay, well I would say that if you do have questions, you can come and speak with Henrik. Join the conversation. If you haven't already, be sure to follow SKF Mining Insights on LinkedIn and look for more case study presentations and other valuable content on skf.com/mining insights.